What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Wrestling IQ 101. You know me, I am Derrick on behalf of Wrestling IQ 101. Today is a very special day. Got a very special guest with me. It's always special when he's in the building with me, talking to me. My boy, Rob Williams, a.k.a. Bob, man, from the Bobculture Podcast. What's up, Rob? How you doing, man?
D-Flav, it is always an honor when you are in the building, my friend, or on Skype or whatever this is. I don't know who canceled on you tonight, but I appreciate you gambling on me, Mr. Derrick. So thank you so much, man, for taking a few minutes, man, to talk to me. I'm really honored. And, of course, I had to wear my Wrestling IQ 101 shirt, now available on tpublic.com. Shameless promo, done.
Look at that. I appreciate that. Come on, man. You know, I had to kick somebody else to the curb for you. You know that, man. Come on, bro.
I'm not worthy, man. No, we love you, Derrick. This is an honor, bro.
Definitely. But, definitely appreciate you coming on. Like I told you, man, you've been doing a lot of great things, with your podcast and just in wrestling in general. And, I thought that we should do something together to, let the fans know who you are, because, we see you do a lot of stuff. I know always I'm on this side where I'm always talking about other people, but, we never really get to give our stories so that they could be heard to the fans. So I was like, you know what, let me get my man Rob on and let's let the fans hear about Rob and his life and other things that he does, including his great podcast he does, the Bobculture Podcast.
Yeah, man. It's dude, you know what? It's been a crazy year, not just for me, but for everybody. Right out the gate, I'm very public that it's been a tough year for me personally. You get blindsided in life and relationships where you live, man, to a point where sometimes you have to just pick everything up, put it in the car, live out a suitcase for a while, whatever. And then you got to pick up the paintbrush, pick up the hammer, whatever it is. And you got to rebuild, man. And that was definitely my year. And not comparing it to, anything anyone else has been through. Because let's be real, man, 2020 has been just like crazy, man, with the pandemic and, like with Kobe, like what the heck was that, man? Just like out of the blue, man. Like you can't make this stuff up, bro. It's crazy. But just everyone's been through it, but you really do see who's there to support you through these tough times, man. So the podcast has been consistent. I almost hung it up, not because of how the podcast itself was going, but just because of, there was a time where I was doing episodes out of my car, because, you got to keep the show going. You have interviews scheduled. And now, thanks to a great support system, great roommate, of course, the co-host of The Most, Mr. Chris Nunez. We painted this room. I have my own studio now. It's great. We have all the 8x10s. I got the Andrew 8x10 over there. We need the Derrick 8x10 in here, but this podcast has been just such a great outlet for me and just a great wrestling community from all the talent, the promoters, the crew, the podcasters. That very much includes you, Derrick. I appreciate that. You guys all picked me up and just everyone's just been there for me this year, and I can hold my head up high. And I'm very proud that I dove headfirst into this podcast where we interview just some great wrestlers and have great prediction panels, including the likes of you. And it's awesome, man. I'm so thankful for it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. No, it's always like for me, I know at least, and I'm pretty sure for you as well. It's kind of like for us when, you're going through those things, doing this kind of like takes you away from all that and puts you in a good space and just put you in, you get to talk to some great people and you get to hear their stories. And you also, now you get to tell this story now. And now, someone will look back on it and be like, hey, I was going through that same instance and, I saw Rob go through that. He prevailed. So now I want to do the same thing and I want to prevail too. You just talk about just like the wrestling community and, everybody coming together. Recently you just did Vals Pals. You sponsored that. That was sponsored by you. Vals Pals, Chad Menez and Standalone and Titan Championship Wrestling, TCW, Pro Wrestling All After Dark, everybody just coming together to put that show together. Just we didn't really get to talk that much that day. I know you were busy, man. You were all over the place. Just tell me, like, how do you feel everything turned out and just how that event, what it meant to you?
Oh, man, that event was amazing. And again, it's certainly not about me, but I am so thrilled to have the Bobculture Podcast associated with that. event. That was an event, for those who don't know, a great kid, Val, who loves wrestling, nonverbal, limited mobility, cerebral palsy. And he is part of the Falzarano family, Kim, Bella, just amazing, amazing family that, that have to deal with these medical bills or medical trips, whatever it may or may not be. And I'm so glad that we could help. And by we, I don't just mean the Bobculture Podcast. I mean the wrestling community. I mean Chad Minez, who has been such a big part of this show. I think I got I'm a Chad Minez guy sticker behind me. I got the shirt. I wore it that day. Chad, man, I owe so much to him. And you guys know this, because I'll say this right now. I'm following in your guys' footsteps. I remember meeting you guys at Boardwalk Beatdown years ago and just seeing how professional you guys were. I'm putting everyone over here, but I really do mean that. You guys and Ty, of course, from the Ropes Media, and just like I saw how professional you guys were and how you guys like approached interviews and how you guys worked hard and conducted yourselves. And I was a newbie at the time, so I do feel I'm following in your footsteps. And all those opportunities going back to Boardwalk Beatdown, Chad has been there. Chad knows what I've been through. Chad's been through his own stuff where he's prevailed, as we've seen, and he's just using his platform to help so many people, and that includes me. I remember going to events and saying like, "Hey, Chad, like, is this TV talent? Is this legend? Is this Hall of Famer doing interviews or media today?" And he would go, "For you, he is." And like, it just meant the world to me, and it still does. And he always looks out for me. He always gives me advice. He'll always give me feedback on what I'm doing. I've got to dip my toes into some other facets of the wrestling community, which for me is really exciting and such like a weird, I always call this like the darkest timeline. 2020 has just been really weird, but I think, like the wrestling has been great in terms of just like the indies, especially in this Northeast area with so many opportunities. So at Vals Pals, not only was I thrilled to be a part of that event and help such a great cause and a great family, and what a stellar show that was, but I got to go between the ropes and host the pre-show. I got to go on the microphone. We got an entrance. My friend's band, Roulette, now they're called Cult of She, so shout to them. They let us use their music. We had the smoke. We did the whole entrance thing, and we got to be part of an award segment. And if you know wrestling, you know how those award segments typically end. So there were a lot of nerves, there were a lot of firsts. I felt I had no business as a journalist, like being inside the ring, but Chad and Vinny and Shane, Ryan, David Adams, they all just had our back and they gave us advice and they said, "Look, guys, like everyone likes you guys and respects you guys. You guys work hard. Like, just go out there and do what you normally do." So we got to go out there. I think it went fairly well. Yeah. Again, I feel like I have no business being out there, but it was really, really cool. And I'm just, again, like, I'm so sorry. Like, I was running around all day, but it was really good to see you, man. It really was. You have a beautiful family, man. And it was a nice moment. It's nice to see everybody. It was such a good day, and what a success. I'm very proud to have been a part of that. Yeah, man, it was great. And, I know you probably had nerves, but, from the outside looking in, you couldn't tell. You looked like a natural. You did a great job, stepping in there and, when you're doing the giveaways and stuff like that. You guys did great, man. I think you guys did really good. And, something that, I was happy about to see you receive the Contribution to Pro Wrestling Award. I was very happy to see you get that. Yeah, hang it right there. Yep. And you got it presented to you by Vinny Chenzo, who's just a stellar guy who's always been, just A1 since the day I met him. He's amazing as well. What does that mean to you to be, I know you said it wasn't about you. It was definitely about Val that night, but, it was about Val and you that night for me. It was like, you were put on a pedestal that night and, you were presented that for all that hard work you've been putting in lately, man. Yeah, like you beat me to the punch. You know me so well, man. And like in my mind, like you and Andrew and everyone like should be in the ring with us for like something like that. I really do mean that. I'm not just saying that. Like, and at the same time, I'm glad you were there, man. I'm glad I got to see you. But that award, man, and you knew I was going to say it's not about me. It's about the Falzarano family. I actually had a speech that said that. I was going to get to my speech, my thank you or whatever, but obviously we got interrupted. So I think I posted it on social media because I really did have a lot of heartfelt things to say. It's been a tough year, like I said, and I just want to thank everybody. To me, that award means hard work pays off. Like it's something to show for all of this. And the best part of this isn't just like the award and the plaques and all that, which I'm not going to lie, it's awesome. I love it. I framed it, I put it up as soon as I got here, moved some of the belts around. But it's not just about me. It's about my boys. And that includes you, man. Like it's about this podcasting community and the wrestling community, because these wrestlers, like, they've been so good to me. And I know you have great relationships with a lot of them. And in my experience, like, you think some of these people, because let's face it, there's a lot of talented people in wrestling. There's a lot of really talented people. There's a lot of really attractive people in wrestling. Let's be honest. And they have like no egos. Like they are just great, humble, nice people. So many of them, even today, are like checking in on me. I posted something the other day, just how appreciative I was to the wrestling community. And to this day, like even tonight, like right before I got here, people are like, hey, are you okay? And everything's good. Like, I'm great. Like, I just want to say thank you to you guys. Like, that's what it's all about. I remember when COVID hit, Casey Navarro checked in. He's like, hey man, I just want to see how you and your family are doing. And I'm like, what? Like, why is this guy like asking me? Like, but that's the kind of guy he is. Yeah. We just had a great conversation. I told him like what was going on in my personal life. And he's like, I got your back. And then the guy goes and wears my shirt to the ring. I mean, come on. Like, it means the world to me, man. Like, I don't want to get emotional, but like, it really means the world to me that like Chad goes to bat for me, that Casey would do something like that. And I've made a lot of like really great friends, like Casey Catal, she came in at Vals Pals. It was my birthday. Again, not about me, but she brought me all these like happy birthday glasses, which is just like so sweet, man. And stuff like that means the world to me. But the award itself, it's just something to show for all my hard work. And I'm very grateful and appreciative for it. But it's not just about me. It's about the wrestling community. It's about the podcasters. It's about my boys. And it's about family, man.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely, I'm glad to be a part of your circle, man, for sure. And
100%.
Yeah. So
key player, A+ player.
Facts. So, let's go back, man. So I know for me, kind of like how me and Andrew got into podcasting, it was literally, we were talking about, we wanted to do something in wrestling because we had a deep love for it. And then we were just sitting around one day, and then we just decided, you know what, let's start podcasting. And then, we went and just bought mics, and, we literally we said, yo, we're doing it. And then I just learned how to do all this stuff that I could do, graphics, editing. We just did that. You listen to some of the old episodes, and we're like, oh boy, those sound so horrible now compared to, how we evolved from then. But for you, like, what was it that made you want to get into podcasting? Like, what was that initial step for you that said, hey, I'm going to do this and take it seriously?
Really, really good question, man. Real quick, I'm going to give you a shout, Derrick, because you're my guy. But also, I did a recent interview with a wrestler at an event, and it was, a wrestler like in character and with the persona and all that. It was like a dark character ahead of it, like a cage match and all this. And all the small things, which is one of my favorite bands, Blink, but probably one of my least favorite songs by them, but I love Blink. And anyway, it's just like killing the vibe of the whole interview, because he's like, roar, and I'm, Friday night I'm going to get him or whatever. And, talking about his mask and these rituals that were performed on his mask, which I love. I love like the in-character interviews. So fun. But anyway, all the small things is playing in the back. And I'm like, I could have posted it, but I'm just like, I need help, because it totally just takes so much away from this pop punk song, takes so much away from this interview, man. So I sent it to you, man, and you were just like, oh yeah, I don't know if this is good. And I listened to it, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's perfect, man. So like, I thank you for that, man. You guys have come a long way and are doing great stuff. And a lot of the people that you guys have had on are, like top tier on TV now. And like I always say to people I have on now, I think a year or two from now, that'll be that next class. We see our friend Serpentico, we see Joe Gacy, like having a lot of success, and, they're going to be on TV, man. And that fills my heart. And that shows me that dreams are going to come true. But to answer your original question, now that I've put everyone over, I've been playing in bands since I was 16 years old. So local bands, playing the drums, which is still a big part of my life, playing music and all that. I got to play drums again, part of the like wrestling community giving back. I got to play the drums on the Notorious Mimi's theme, who's been Goddess Champ for some time now. Now Vicious Vicky just won it the other night in a stellar match. But that to me was like a really cool moment to see a wrestler come out to a song I got to work on. Shout to John Kiernan for making that happen, who does a lot of great themes. So to see Mimi come out, and I think the theme, you know, it was cool on paper. It was cool when we recorded it, but to see her, I'm not answering your question at all. To see her come out with the drums, it was a really cool moment. So my next kind of goal, because like CVV always says, you know, set like or was it vague goals yield vague rewards? So set like goals for yourself. So my next goal is to play like live, like play someone out live to their entrance. So maybe Mimi one day or something like that. But anyway, I've been playing in bands since I was 16 years old. So again, I'm familiar with like talent, and I'm familiar with like promoters, which sometimes has a negative connotation to that. In this wrestling world, the people that we've worked with, Chad, Billy, Charles, AG, Colin West, they have been amazing, and promoter is not a scary word anymore. And they've been so great. But I had been on the other side, like I am now, like an interviewee on podcasts and a lot of college radio before podcasting was a big thing, because I'm an old man. And I was like always into that nerd culture, sports, fantasy sports, all that stuff. So I started doing a website, and I was just like, this, you know, I was doing like top 25 retro games, all this stuff. As I sit in my nerd layer here. And I started making the web page, and there was a lot of navigation, and there was like a lot of links, and I'm like, this is hard, and I have no business doing this. So one of the bands I was in the past, I've been in so many bands over the years, we were on a podcast, and I thought it went really well, and the episode got a lot of views or listens or downloads or whatever. And I talked to my support system, and I was like, hey, what do you think about me doing a podcast? Now I'm a drummer, man. Like behind the kit, like I feel like not to toot my own horn, but beep beep, like I feel like I can do anything like behind the kit. I've been playing since I was 11 years old, man. Like I can do all the visuals and the tricks and the, you know, even when we came out of Vals Pals, I almost brought out drumsticks just to be comfortable, you know, as like, you know, almost like to calm me down. But yeah, dude, it was like playing drums. I feel invincible. So getting behind the microphone, like I never really sang. Like sometimes I would do like backups and stuff, but being in front of the microphone, I wasn't really comfortable. So, I mean, as you know, like in the business, I started out very green. I still don't think I'm great, but I think my guys are great. I think the guests are fantastic. I think I do my homework. I do the research, but there's so many things I could work on. Like you were mentioning, like, you know, audio, graphics, all that kind of stuff. Like I feel that I could work on that and get better, but you guys all help me with that. Shout to Tiff from No Holds Barred Network. Always helps me with the graphics and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's a learning curve, but I wanted to create not just musically. I think I wanted to create not just from behind the kit. And I love teaching drums. I love playing drums. We have a great drum line, the Snare Devils. Shout to Big Beat Studio where I work. Shameless promo. Neptune City, get a free trial lesson now. But also had to get that in there. You're welcome, Joe. I love being part of this music community. And on the show, we've had a lot of local bands who are so appreciative of me. And even when I was going through a hard time, like these bands legit all took me out to dinner. Like it was really cool. Cause sometimes when like things get shaky, like people take sides and stuff like that. And it was like, everyone was like on my side, and everyone was like, you know, I can hold my head up. I know I didn't do anything wrong. I was just like a victim of something that I kind of walked in on. And it's weird, you know, cause like you feel like, oh, you're going to lose family and all that stuff. And you know, the other side of the family, you know, not my blood family, but they're like, hey, like we want to keep you and all this. So it's all very confusing and weird, but I'm super thankful to the music community and super thankful to the wrestling community. So it's been a year, man, but I'm so happy I did it because I have a lot to show for it. I really feel that way.
Yeah, man. You know, kind of like what you were doing too, how you had your, you know, your love for music. And, you know, I saw your podcast and I saw you were doing the music thing, and you were talking to wrestlers too. And it kind of gave me flashbacks, and it kind of influenced me to want to go into, you know, my new venture that I started with the Rap and Wrestle, is because, you know, back in college, I used to, same thing like you said, college radio. I was on college radio with a friend, and we both hosted a show, and where we, you know, interviewed young hip hop artists who were, you know, trying to make a break, trying to get a name for themselves. So we always had them on the show when I went to Rutgers University.
You went to Rutgers?
I went to Rutgers, man. Yeah.
I graduated. I'm old, but I graduated 2006.
I graduated in 2010.
Okay, all right. So we just miss each other, yeah.
We just missed each other there. So yeah, I was up at College Ave. I was at the radio station.
No way.
Yeah, so we used to interview young hip hop talent. We used to bring them up there, guys that would never usually probably get these interviews because they never were they weren't heard, they weren't big. So that was something that was a passion for me, and I love wrestling just as much. And kind of like you said, like this year, it just like we said, it kind of forced people to be creative. So for me, I was like, you know what, why don't I just, take my shot on this and just see, what I can do with this and combine the worlds together, man. So I saw for that, you were influenced on that for me too. Cause I saw what you do. You talk to the musicians, you talk to wrestlers, and you kind of like collide those worlds for yourself. And I was like, yo, you know what? That was something I used to do that I love. This is something I love. And I know I could bring the two together. And for me, it's always been about just giving those guys, like I talked to artists on my show so far that, I'm probably their first interview that they've done.
Awesome.
Or, one of the first few, or one of those guys that's trying to get them out there because I know they have talent. And when I started wrestling IQ 101, it was the same thing too. I was like, you know what? There's a lot of guys we talk to that they're like, we're your first interview. Or, a lot of guys who say, that they never usually do these things, but the way you guys approach us was so professional. And, I was like, hey, let me just take a chance on you guys. So that's the way we've always wanted to be. It's always about putting other people on for us. And, I try to do that whether I'm doing this, whether I'm doing rap and wrestle. And, like I said, with the rap and wrestle, like you don't know it, but you influenced me to go that route and do what I want to do in that, man. I definitely appreciate you for that, for sure.
Nah, dude, I know that it's a love fest, but dude, like I said earlier, like I follow in your guys' footsteps. Like I'm glad I could give back in some way because, like, again, and I see the poster back there from Boardwalk Beatdown. But when like meeting you guys and seeing you guys moving forward after that, like I saw how professional you guys are. I saw how, and anyone listening that's a podcaster, like be professional about how you approach interviews. Like send a formal email. I try to stay away from the social media, but sometimes like that is the only way. So, I mean, I get it. You can do social media, but, again, be respectful because these wrestlers get a lot of weird stuff. So be respectful, don't put in a comment like, hey, I want you on my, like just try. And I've made the rookie mistakes too. But, be professional and be like Derrick and Andrew, because like you always say, like Andrew is not afraid to just go up to anybody. And again, he's very professional, but, I'm always like, it's like almost like I got to like ramp myself up before I approach someone. Hello, Mr. I'm so-and-so senior editor, or I'm so, host of the yada yada. So follow Derrick and Andrew. Those guys know what they're doing.
Oh man, that's funny. So I mean, I guess we know what we're doing. We survived this long, so I guess we must know something. For you, when it comes to, you said you do drumming. How did that love for music start for you, man? What was it for you that, or is it just like, hey, can you even remember? Like for me, I don't even remember why I started loving music. I just know I just love music. I don't know why. But what for you? What was that moment? What made you kind of like want to become a drummer?
That's a good question, man. So when I was a kid, like very involved in church, still am today. But so I played like the handbells. I play, I was like in the choirs and stuff like that. My first instrument was piano. A lot of my family was into music, and I had great music teachers. So piano was my first instrument. And right when I turned 11, I don't know why. I can't even remember why. I couldn't tell you why I picked drums, but I picked drums probably because I thought they were cool, and they are. But yeah, man, I started playing drums at 11. I shout out to my teacher, Joe Navolo, who's taught me for so many years. He's great. And dude, I just fell in love with it. And I met so many cool people, through high school playing music. And like nowadays, I wouldn't say like everyone's in a band, but a lot of people are in a band. But I was like that was my thing in high school. Like I was in a band, and I was like a freshman. I was in a band with like all the juniors and the seniors, and like that was my thing. And it was so cool, man. And I had so many friends, and like we would put flyers around. And I remember by the time I was a senior, like there was another like freshman band, and I'm like, well, like I'm the only one in it. I was in like 2 bands. I was like, I'm the only one in the band. Like, who are these freshmen? I went to see them. They were really good. And now they're some of my lifelong friends, so it's crazy. And much like the wrestling community, like there's this great band community that have become like lifelong friends, like legit lifelong friends and family who who have literally like been there for me again this year, who literally have gone to bat for me this year, which again, like, you know, you think people choose sides and stuff like that. Like, no, they, you know, they have the uncomfortable conversations. They go to bat for me, man. And I'm so appreciative of that, not only from the music community, but from the wrestling community. So music has been very good to me. And we always say, like Jericho will always say this, or people always talk to say this, there's a lot of parallels between the music industry and the wrestling industry, which you obviously know from your show. You know, like one of the first indie shows I went to was like Jersey All Pro Wrestling many years ago. And I remember seeing guys, in fact, I think it was like Leo Rush and Candice LeRae, and they were going around and they just had like boxes with like their 8x10s or their t-shirts, like see if people want to buy them. And that reminded me of like my CDs, you know, or going around like at a venue. So I could just see the parallels, and you want to make like a name for yourself, a persona. You know, like my drum set, it's like all green. It's like the bright green. I call it the Kryptonite kit. It like really glows on the stage, man.
Nice.
So that's kind of my thing. I got like the Bob Man logo on the front, the Super B. So again, a lot of parallels, man. But the music world's been very good to me. Again, like, you know, and I don't shy away from this on the show. Like we talk to local bands, we get very real. Like, you know, sometimes promoters take advantage of talent, you know, sometimes not in the wrestling. I mean, it happens everywhere, but in this specific case, like, you know, especially these younger bands that are coming up. So I'm always very protective of them. And, you know, we always talk about paying to play and all that kind of stuff. So in a way, the music community has been great to me, but the wrestling community, man, it's just been amazing, man. It's really great, man. So, I can't complain, man. Music and wrestling, they really do go hand in hand in a lot of ways, and they've been very good to me.
Definitely. All right, so we already know you're a great podcaster.
Yeah.
We know he said, yeah. We know you're all right. We know you're a good drummer. Yeah, we take credit. Great drummer.
There it is.
All right, we'll take that. So great drummer, great podcaster. Any other hidden talents that anybody wouldn't know you have besides those two things?
Hidden talents, man. I first of all, again, I don't think I'm a great podcaster. I think I put in the work. I think my guys are great. I think I have a lot of work to do. Even setting up the studio, man, I want to put up like I have mics I need to put up. I have like a bunch of different webcams I got to set up. Lighting is a whole nother thing I got to learn, but it's a process, man. But I'm okay. Drums, I'll say I'm pretty good. I'm confident in the drums. Other hidden talents, dude, I wish I could sing so badly. Like I really wish I do, because I know music so well. Maybe I should take lessons and learn, but I can play guitar. Nice. Fairly decently, like a rhythm guitar. I would say not a lot of leads, but I've been self-taught on guitar for a while, man. So I just built the fire pit at the new crib, man. So you're very welcome to come over, by the way.
Oh, nice.
And we haven't opened it yet, but I'm hoping this weekend or next week we'll open the fire pit. My buddies are going to come over, some guitars, some more, the whole thing. So we'll be out there jamming and singing. So hopefully the neighbors don't get annoyed by my terrible singing.
Nice. Look at that. See, I'll bring my rapper friend, and then we can jam out, rap, and put some drums and some guitars like together, man. I have one of my boys. I'll tell you this quick story. I used to when I was back at Rutgers too as well. I used to actually manage one of my boys right now. That's doing. He does music now. He does kind of like it's like a mix of like hip hop, Afro beats sound.
Cool.
That he does. So it's pretty dope. So he does a lot of performances like with live bands and stuff like that. So always like guitars and drums and, you know, pianos, all that stuff. And it always sounds like great. So I know he would be down for something like that. I know he would be like, oh yeah, I'm definitely down with that, man. That'd be cool.
I love that, bro. That's awesome, man. Because like a lot, and not to say I'm on the other side of it, man, but like a lot of like the old school hip hop or like the rap or even some of the pop today, you get a lot of the like, and even a lot of the wrestler themes nowadays, you get a lot of the electronic drums, which again, like it fits, it's perfect. You know, there's nothing against it, but being a live drummer, I always love seeing like the hip hop artists or, you know, the artists like Machine Gun Kelly. He's doing a lot of more of the pop punk rock stuff now, which I'm actually enjoying. But like, you know, when they always get like Travis Barker or do like the live stuff, like I love that stuff, man. Yeah. And you mentioned like the Afro beats. Like I always love like Afro Cuban or like Latin beats, man. Like those are always so fun to play, man. So you're piquing my interest. Yeah. If any of your friends, man, anyone wants to jam, man, I got some beats.
All right, man. We're going to make it happen. That's definitely for sure. So for you, let's say for you personally, what is when you look at everything that you're doing, what is your goal that you want to have with all of this? Like, what are you looking to accomplish? I know we all get into it for different reasons, but what is it for you that is the end goal for you? What do you think?
Wow, man. That's a really good question, man. Because I don't want to be like, oh, me, and make lots of money and all that stuff, man. Because that's what it's never been. It's never been that way. It's never been about that, man. Like when I had my struggles earlier this year, man. Like, and I thought about like hanging it up. Like everyone was like, oh, when are we doing the show? Like when are we doing the Star Wars, episode? When are we doing the fantasy football or the Super Bowl episode, whatever it is? And yeah, I think it's always been about just everyone just coming together. And even though it's just me in this room right now, like it's always about like you can see the poster behind me, man. Like there's all like, little nods to everybody, this is the main crew, and I have like little Easter eggs and all that. Like my boy who plays bass, he went to bat for me. So I'm literally using his bass as a bat in that picture in that battle royale BCP. So it's all about that, man. And it's about continuing to grow, continuing to like work with the likes of yourself and have fun, man, because I don't think it's just like about me, like, and having this outlet. Like people have been through a lot this year, man. And I talk to people every day on Facebook Messenger or text or whatever, man. And it's weird, man. Like we're losing people a lot and people are getting really depressed, man. And, man, it's just been weird. It's just been weird. Like I could go on and on, but when I have people on, like Nunes says it, brother Nunes says it like this. He's like, when the red light goes on, everything goes away and you're just kind of in that moment, man. So that's a big part of it. I know that's not really a goal, but that's what it's about. And more so it's about giving these local bands who are very appreciative of it. And more so these, now that we're doing a lot of wrestling, more so these wrestlers, like to have this platform, like you said earlier, man, just to kind of tell their story, what they've been through, man. And I'll tell you what, man, these are a lot of amazing people, man. Like they've been through some stuff and I'm just like, why? I mean, like you guys are such like amazing, beautiful people. And like, but everyone has their stuff, man. Everyone has their stuff. And I think they're appreciative. Someone I had on a couple weeks ago was just like, thank you for giving me the outlet. Like I never told that story, and you could tell people kind of want to vent or tell their story. So that's what it's about. Moving forward, the goal is always to put over talent. It's always to have a good time. It's always, in a way, it's therapeutic, like I mentioned earlier. Ideally, I would love to, short-term goals. Like we cracked the top 100 a couple times in our category on iTunes, and that's not me bragging. Just in terms of goals, I'm trying to crack the top 50. Like that's where I am right now. I think 1 and 2 in wrestling is probably CVV and Chris Jericho's Talk is Jericho. Maybe moving forward, it'd be crack the top 10 and see where that goes. Ideally, I would love to do almost like a Busted Open or a Sirius satellite radio show that, we do what we're doing right now. We talk about the shows, we talk about our predictions. We have the indie talent on, we have national talent on, man. Ideally it would be me, it would be you, it would be Queen. It would just be our guys. It would be Bill, Vac, Nunes, Danny Smart. It would just be our crew, Tim, like everybody. I could do shouts all day. Again, not just about me. Almost like how First Take would have like a different host. Shout to Charlie.
Yeah.
Charlie, by the way, she's an angel. Love Charlie. But anyway, I digress. My next wife right there. No, I love Charlie. Hashtag journalist goals. I'm just playing. But ideally, I think that would be great just to, and as you know, just like expand our platform, just to reach more ears, and not only for us, but for these wrestlers to tell their story and get their brand, their merch out there and get on shows, man. And everybody wins, man. So I'm super appreciative of this. And, the goals are always there. Like CVV says, set those goals. But I'm very happy. I'm very happy so far.
Yeah, man, definitely. I definitely, I'm happy that you're happy. So for you, besides, wrestling, besides the music, what are some other things that you enjoy to do?
Oh, man. We do, and I'm sure you agree with this, man. We do a lot of fantasy football. We take it a little bit too seriously. Fantasy football, like, again, kind of wrestling related, but we have like the title belt.
Yeah, so
we were cutting promos, and again, we were like I saw a wrestler last week cutting a promo, and I knew where she was going with it because I cut the same promo, like catching you in someone else's arms or something like that. And it, obviously it was about the belt, but it, it was like a huge misdirect or whatever. And I saw someone doing a similar promo. I'm like, I know where you're going with this because I cut this promo and I love it. But so a big fantasy football guy, and the loser dresses as the unicorn. We have a shirt with the unicorn that says I suck at fantasy football. So Nunez, I was the first unicorn, and I'm the commissioner, so I own it. I was the first unicorn. Nunez was one of the unicorns, so we call him the Nunicorn. So we take that very seriously. I love teaching, man. I love teaching. I know it's music, but I love teaching drums. I'm so proud of like the kids that I teach because they're good kids. I work with a lot of special needs kids, whether it be mental or physical, emotional, whatever it is, man. And just like the drumming's so positive, dude. Like whether it helps with mobility, whether it helps with focusing or learning, whatever it is, man. So I'm super proud. These kids I have in the drum line, man, like we do charity events, we do parades, we do marathons and stuff like that. And it's so cool to be a part of it. I'm just so proud of I want to be a role model to these kids too. I think that's important because in music, there's a lot of ego involved. There always is. And I don't want the kids to kind of, like I'm a rock star. Like, yeah, I want you to think that way, but like, you're not better than everybody else. And I'm just so proud of like the way the kids are. And, they treat people at the studio. And dude, like for example, right, one of the kids came in on Sunday. I guess I had posted something. They're like, oh, congratulations on the award that you won. And I'm just like, how classy is that? Like for a kid to come up and say that. So just a big family guy, family first always. I've learned that a lot, especially this year. And yeah, man, just a lot of, I definitely dove headfirst into the podcast this year, and it's definitely paid off. It took my focus off some other things. Like even right now, just talking to you, bro, like honestly, like it's been a stressful day, man. It's been a year, bro, but just having this conversation is really nice. So I'm very appreciative, man. So it's all good.
Definitely. No, I hear you on that, man. I definitely hear you on that. This is definitely the getaway right now.
Yeah.
This is one of the interviews I'm actually not stressing about, and I'm actually good. Yeah. I was like, I'm talking to my boy Rob. I know it's gonna be good, man. I don't gotta be stressed out like, oh man, what am I gonna say and do this, putting all these notes together.
I know that story.
I'm like, I know it'll flow good with me and Rob. So
always.
You talking about fantasy. How's your fantasy team doing this year so far?
Dude, I'm happy, man. Rodgers was my keeper this year, so I'm happy with him. Dude, it was one of those things, man. Like in the draft, I got everyone that I wanted except for one person. I wanted Aaron Jones. I think I missed him by like one. But like it was like every round I got exactly who I was eyeing. Like that never happens, man. It was almost like dangerous because they say if you like your team, if you love your team, like that's no good. I mean, there's so many theories, man. But I love my team, man. I think after this week, I'm 3-2. And again, man, like it's crazy, this year because again because of the world and COVID and all that. Yeah. And you have to. I know you're an NBA guy. You're a Mavericks fan.
Yeah,
I'm a Nets guy. But Nunez is a big Mavericks guy too. We got to get a picture with you and Casey and Brandon and Nunez, all the Mavericks fans. But anyway, you got to applaud the NBA, man, on how they handled this whole thing. You knew when they did the bubble in Disney and just saw the way they handled it outside of one player, Lou Williams, they did such a great job. You knew as soon as they set it up, like this is going to work. And they made it all the way through the season, the finals. You saw some hiccups with baseball, and this isn't a knock because this is the world we live in. I'm just appreciative of anything. But with fantasy, it's definitely tough now with everything going on. And I made a lot of last-minute changes on Sunday at like 12 o'clock once you got that alert that a game was canceled. So it's tricky, man. But how's your team doing, bro?
It's been crazy. Actually, right now I'm in second place right now. So I'm in second place, but as far as points, I have the most points in the league scored. So I think I'm setting myself up pretty good for when we head towards the playoffs and stuff like that. But that's the thing. It's a tricky year because you don't know what's going on, man. Games are getting canceled left and right. Some players are missing games. So I think I'm going to be all right. We'll see how it goes from here. I'm holding on right now, but it's not just me that's getting messed up. It's everybody in the league that's getting messed up. So, I've been making some picks and I got lucky and picked up some guys on the waiver wire that were like overlooked. And I was just like, I got the running back from Jacksonville. That guy is a beast. David Montgomery from Chicago as well. I'm like, who's letting these guys slip, man? So and I got Pat Mahomes as my QB. It's like, come on, man.
Oh, money, dude.
Pat Mahomes is my QB. Josh Allen is my backup QB. So Josh Allen is like, he's putting up more numbers than Pat Mahomes this year, which is crazy. So I'm good at that position. I think I'm doing okay so far, and we'll see what happens with it as it goes on, and hopefully COVID doesn't end. But the thing that was hard for football, hard for Major League Baseball, which I knew it was going to be difficult for them. And my Yankees lost. I'm sad about that.
I know, me too, man. I was heartbroken, bro.
I'm sad.
I
thought this was our year, man. I'm sad about that, but anyway.
I did too.
It's kind of hard for these guys. Adam Silver has it good because he's not dealing with so many guys as the NFL and the Major League Baseball. Because imagine if you try to put the NFL in the bubble. That's impossible. There's like 55 guys on each team. It's like, who are you paying for that amount of space to put all those guys up in, in these areas? So, it's pretty tough for them. And, I knew, it is what it is this year. Hopefully my Bucks can pull it out and get a championship this year.
Oh, okay.
I'll be happy about that. And, it is what it is, man. I'm not going to stress it.
Maybe we'll see KD and Kyrie on the Nets, man. I've always liked Kyrie for a long time, man. Mm-hmm. Uncle Drew, all that kind of stuff, man. Yeah. I hope he's not trouble in the locker room, like I've heard in the past, man, because he's great on the court, man. We'll have to see it here in Brooklyn. But I was a big New Jersey Nets guy, so I stick with. I'm not bandwagoning or jumping onto Brooklyn. Like I was at the very first Brooklyn game, man. I've been going to the Continental Airlines Arena, Izod Center, Meadowlands, way back in the day. Vince Carter's my favorite. Yeah, man. Yeah. See, with Kyrie, I'm hoping Kyrie is good this year because KD will be back. If you notice, whenever Kyrie has to be the number one, that's when all these issues come out that he's causing problems, this and that. Yes. When he was with LeBron, there was no problems at all. He was under LeBron. I think everybody was shocked that he actually wanted to leave the Cavs and leave LeBron to go to another team and be the top guy. But I think he'll be fine because all the heat will go to KD now, and he can kind of like just sit back in the bag and just play the game. So hopefully you guys do something good. I hope so for your sake, man. That's a good point. That's a very fair point. Definitely. Now, so you were talking about video games earlier as well. What are some of your favorite video games? I know you're old school like me, man. Yeah. So I wish Nunez was here for this one. His room is a legit museum, man. He has the Jaguar and all the Game Genie, but like we hit the flea market every week, man. So he's such a collector, man. Like he smells the games, man. Like he knows where they are, man. He finds the deals. Sometimes you have people that like they don't even know what's this video game, and they're like, oh, how much? Oh, I don't know, $1. Okay, But he's very good at like collecting this stuff. He knows how much everything's worth. He has everything in the boxes, man. We're gonna do a tour of his room one day on Facebook Live or something. But he's still setting it up. He's got so much stuff. I grew up. The NES is my all-time favorite. I grew up with that. So Mario Brothers 3 is probably my all-time favorite game. Yes. I love like the classic arcades, like Ninja Turtles arcade, X-Men arcade, Simpsons arcade. Double Dragon, all that kind of stuff. So the retro stuff's cool. Nunez and we play a lot of NBA 2K. I haven't gotten the new one. Kobe's on the cover, right? Of the new one, the 2K21. Yeah, 2K21 Mamba edition with Kobe on the cover, yeah. Oh, yeah. I haven't gotten it yet. I haven't played it. But we've been playing a lot of 2K20. It gets pretty heated in here. And I can't pick the Nets because, like, the rosters update. And there's no so KD's not on the deck because they're injured or they're not out, so it's accurate. So I can't be like I have I don't I know who these guys are, some of them, but I don't even have Dinwiddie or you know what I mean? I have nobody, so I have to be the Trailblazers. Don't worry, I got you. I know how to fix that. You could put it so that injuries are off,
and you'll
My
be able to have those
dude.
guys. I'm gonna tell you how to do that, man.
Oh.
I'll send it to you.
Nunes is done, bro. Thank you. He's killing me with the Mavs. Luka, man, he's unstoppable. Yeah. Even Porzingis, man, he's killing me with all these guys.
Oh man, he's gonna be so upset now. He's gonna be like, "What is this? How did you get these guys?"
But I appreciate it, man. But I'm a big gamer. Like, I wish I could play more. Honestly, like I wish I could give my game some love. But I also am senior editor, shameless plug for the popbreak.com with our good friend Mr. Bill Bodkin, the editor in chief. And so I do a lot of video game reviews or mobile game reviews, a lot of the wrestling game reviews. So sometimes I get stuff early, which is awesome. And it's really cool. And, they'll send me stuff to review and all that. And usually if they send you stuff to review, they'll send you like the deluxe edition or like the really good edition because it doesn't hurt the review. So that's something I really like doing, man. And it's awesome, man.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. This would be a great episode for you and Nunez to do. Yeah. You guys interview Monster Mac. He is a huge video game guy, all those old school guys. I'm pretty sure him and Nunez will have like a great combo because they'll go back and forth. He's like cultured. He has like a whole arcade system, a whole bunch of all these games that have like 500 games on them and that he's made himself. There's a whole bunch of crazy stuff. So really, I'm telling you, you guys should talk to him together, man. And I think that'll be an amazing episode for you guys. Monster Mac is a great dude. He knows a lot. He knows a lot of stuff when it comes to the video games, man.
Wow. He had a good match, cage match, I think last Saturday. So I'll definitely look into that. And I love that you say Nunez's last name correctly. I can't go like, cause to us, he's Nunez, but you're saying it correctly. Like he even appreciates that, man. But to me, it's like he's Nooner. He's Nunez. The Nooner Eclipse. Like that's our guy.
I got a Dominican wife, so I know how to get some of those Spanish words out.
I understand. Good man.
Man. So for you, all right, I got a good one for you. If you were a superhero, which superhero would you want to be?
Great question. If you go favorites, always love Superman. I know it's cliche, man. Like love Superman growing up. I would always watch that scene with Christopher Reeves running in the phone booth and saving Lois and stopping the helicopter, man. But one of my, in fact, they're both over here in the Bob Cave. I got them hanging up. But Wolvie, man, always loved Wolverine. He was always my dude, man. Like from the cartoon to the comics, man. And even in like the Civil War, I'm totally nerding out right now. But when they had the Civil War in the comics before it was on the big screen, like all the heroes were fighting each other. And Wolverine was like the only one that was like tracking down like the actual like villain of the story at the time. He's like, all right, you guys go do that. Like, I'm going to go find this guy because he's hurting people. So like Wolverine's my dude. Hugh Jackman did a great job portraying, a little too tall for the character, but no complaints. Huge jacked man, as we call him. He's great as Wolvie. So always like the Adam West Batman. I never felt they portrayed Batman on the big screen. They never got it like perfect. Like like Keaton might be my favorite out of all of them, but I feel like they never got Batman like perfect on the big screen. But between Supes and Wolvie, you got that healing factor with Wolverine, which is great. I'll go Superman because Wolverine, like, he makes some tough choices sometimes, and I feel like Superman does the right thing more than not. Which is crazy because you see these movies like where it's what if Superman was evil, or these comics like what if Superman's evil, or The Boys, if anyone watches The Boys on Amazon Prime. So Superman and a small dude, guilty pleasure here. You can laugh at me. Favorite show of all time, Smallville. I got all 10 seasons. Love that show. Man. Super cheese. He's gonna hang up on me now. But Superman.
Never. I'm dude. When it comes to shows and binging and all that stuff, I'm huge into like anything sci-fi or heroes, or you give me anything with somebody that has some type of powers that they're casting spells or lifting up cards or something. Dude, I'm all in for it. So I can't even be mad at you for that one.
Okay, good. Are you watching The Boys at all?
The Boys, I just started that. I'm literally on like episode 2, but
it's crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, I know. I've heard people tell me, my boy who used to host with us, Patrick told me, he said, yo, check out this show. So I've been checking it out. I was like, first 2 episodes. I'm like, oh man. But right now I'm watching, you might laugh at me, I'm watching Legacies on Netflix.
Oh, how is that?
That's pretty good. That's pretty
Yeah.
good. It's like typical. It's like Smallville, typical CW11 show.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I love it.
But it's great though, man. It's like witches, a school of witches, and vampires and werewolves, and a whole bunch of stuff. But it's amazing. I definitely recommend you check it out for sure.
I definitely will.
Yeah, man. So now let me ask you, for you, what are the things that you like about wrestling today, and what would be something that you would want to change in wrestling today? You can kind of interpret it however you want to interpret it, but I guess we could say, like, on a national level, as a fan, on the outside, because I kind of think it all blends together anyway,
Sure.
just from watching it, and the things that from the indies take from the pros, and the pros take from the indies. What are things that you're just watching, and things that I know I'm not trying to make you give the Jim Cornette treatment, but
Yeah.
things that you like, and something that you would change if you could change it.
Yeah, definitely. Things that I like is obviously like this local wrestling community, like on the independent level. Great, love it. I've already said all the great things. I love those people, man. I really do. It gives me focus. I care about them. They care about me. And if they don't, I feel like they do, man. It's just been, everyone's been great, man. This community, that includes you, like I always say. On a national level, I love, honestly, this goes back to the indies, but I love the opportunity right now because, I always say this, and here's the first name drop. Is this the first name drop? I do so many name drops. I'm terrible. The first name drop, Tommy Dreamer, when he was on the show, right? Shameless plug. He said, the world stopped, but wrestling didn't. And you think about it, wrestling did keep going through this for the most part, whether it was empty arenas, whether it was the Thunderdome, whether it was the Performance Center, Daly's Place, what is it called? Derry's Place, all that kind of stuff. And I love the opportunity because, what rubbed me the wrong way was kind of like that, day where everyone was fired. And it was just and again, that hits home because a lot of the kids that I teach, like their parents lost their jobs, like within 2 weeks of this thing. And it stinks. And you hate to see anyone lose their job or get cut or whatever it is. But again, on the bright side of things, there was opportunity. I love seeing my friends show up on AEW Dark. I love seeing my friends get signed. To me, like I said earlier, it's dreams come true. There's opportunity still. I thought that would all shut down because we're not selling at arenas. We're not traveling. We're not selling tickets. We're not selling merch at the shows. Meet and greets have taken a hit. Now everything's virtual. So again, I'm thankful for the indie scene where we do get to have some meet and greet sometimes if we're wearing masks or whatever it is. We got to do a watch along with Tommy Dreamer back in Atlantic City about a month ago. Yeah. So I love the opportunity. I love seeing dreams come true for our friends. I love seeing people working and chipping away at stuff and keep it going, man. Like even you guys with WIQ 101, like you guys have been doing this for some time and you guys are still killing it. I was hanging with Andrew last Saturday. What did he do? He walked up to Just Incredible to get a interview, excuse me. Because that's what Andrew does. He just walks up to anybody. I love it. That's my dude. So it's great to see opportunities. It's great to see people succeed because I've seen a lot of people this year, a lot of like great people that I've had on my show for whatever reason. And sometimes they're really good reasons, but I've seen a lot of people hang it up or switch from wrestling to something else. It was confusing to me. Like people whose footsteps I follow, I'm like, oh man, like I almost hung it up when I went through something, back in November, December, but luckily everyone picked me up. I'm glad I stuck with it, but it's crazy. But opportunity is definitely the answer. I love seeing all the opportunity right now in NXT. For people that have been there and are kind of climbing the ladder, for people who are just showing up on TV or in the background on Raw Underground, and more importantly, AEW Dark. A lot of my dudes and a lot of the girls they're getting signed or they're popping them on TV, and you can see on their Facebook they're so appreciative of these matches of these platforms. It helps them so much, man. So that warms my heart. It really does. To be on the negative side of things. How do I do this without calling out a certain company? I think everyone's health right now is first and foremost. Like we always say here on the BCP, stay safe, stay positive, take care of each other. I think certain companies have done better jobs of taking care of each other than others. And I feel like when Renee Young got sick or whatever, and again, like this virus is its own thing. It's crazy. We don't fully understand it. I think we understand it a lot more now that we did. And I am no doctor or scientist, and thank you to all the doctors and scientists first and foremost. But it's tough. But when you don't take every precaution you can, or you look the other way, and thankfully, in the wrestling business, no one that I know of or anything has gotten really, really sick or anything like that, which is great. But, you have to look out for people with pre-existing conditions or who are older, all that kind of stuff. So when like Renee Young got sick, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. When a lot of people got fired, like, yes, I understand it's a business. That rubbed me the wrong way. And the companies that do go the extra mile, the companies that do test all the time, the companies that put the health and the safety first and foremost are great. And, I'll say this, certain company, again, I keep saying certain companies, we can do the math here, but not trying to knock anyone, just as a journalist, calling it right down the middle. I remember being maybe in the fall at a show in Atlantic City for a house show, if you remember those, when that used to be a thing. And I remember the Atlantic City Police Department, they were like leaving the venue because they were supposed to like be like doing not like security, but like doing detail for, the people coming out, because we were trying to get like autographs and all that stuff. And they were there doing their job. And the one officer, she goes, yeah, they sent us home. Like they said they don't need us. And you could tell it kind of rubbed them the wrong way because they're like, they're doing their job and they're serving and protecting or whatever it was. And then like, but WWE's like, we have our own, and I'm not trying to get like political here or anything, but WWE was like, we have our own people for that. Like we have our own guy or whatever. And well, I said the company name, but again, it's like they're their own like country. It's like they're their own world. And to me, other companies kind of embrace the fans more. They care about the fans more. I mean, on paper, the health, like they've done a better job taking care of people's health. So there's a lot of things. And then storyline wise, I mean, that don't make sense. I just did a music episode where we're talking about like all the CFO music getting axed and all that. So I could go on a rant about Retribution and how we're supposed to forget who Mia Yim is or Dijakovic, who I think are just fantastic the way they are. And I don't think we need to lump them into this, Bane character thing that they're doing where they're completely just, I don't know, having a match and doing all strikes and then one double suplex. Like, I don't know, man. I think that's supposed to drag out to Survivor Series. I don't know, man. Like, it's just like a gut thing. So you see people doing things the right way and people doing things more just like purely the business way, man. And I think moving forward, if we can, I'm not trying to knock anyone. I always try to call it down the middle, but I think if we can keep people safer, first and foremost, if we can, WWE does listen to the fans sometimes. I'm not going to say they don't, because I know in the past they really have. Summer Rae has been on the show, second name drop, and said that they do. But I think if you show the fans that you care about them, that's really important. And I think that's the great thing that AEW is doing is they show the fans that they listen. They show the fans that they care. There's something there, man. That first AEW show I went to in Philly where they were closing down and we were just waiting to see if Cody would like sign. The crew's taking down the set, taking down the ring. Cody signed everything. He stayed because that is his brand. He wears that, banner on his back, and he signed everything and took pictures of everyone. And that to me like showed like, hey, like you're owning this and that you cared. And that's just like a small example. I'm a details guy. I pay attention to like the little things and like the interactions, even in the indie shows. Like I kind of see who gets there first, who leaves last, who sets up the ring, all that kind of stuff. I pay attention to that because everyone listening right now, it's great to be a good business person, but be a good human, be a kind human. That's what it's all about, especially in 2020.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely big facts for sure. Wrapping up, just because I know you love to put people over and you put people before yourself. I know this is what you do. Who are some of the young talent that's out there that you just feel that they're going to make it to the next level and that people should be keeping an eye out for?
Oh man, how much time you got? No, I'll keep it brief. Man, so thankful to them. Not just because they're good humans, which again I think counts for a super lot. As far as just in-ring talent, Casey Navarro, who I've mentioned several times on the show, great human. He's got everything in the world. He has every right to go up and be, you know, a huge ego or anything like that. Great kid, great talent, great look, great persona, great charisma. But you know what? He's a good human. He's humble, and he's hungry, and he's going to go there's no doubt in my mind. Like I always say with him, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when and where. 100%. I think the notorious Mimi, a lot of these younger guys or guys and girls who really are the undisputed future of this business. I always say that. Mimi, very young, you know, she said she legit brought the belt to high school. Like, how cool is that?
Oh, wow.
She super talented, and again, one of those talents that his you know, like Nunez told me, like she saw her talking to one of the girls, and I guess one of the girls wasn't like feeling the way she was looking. She's like, "No, you look great," and like total locker room leader already, and stays and sets up and takes everything down, and that's super important. She's going to go very far. Great head on her shoulders. You know, I get worried with these younger talents. I'm like, you know, I worry about ego and stuff like in the music business. And again, like you never really see, I mean, you do, but like in my experience, I haven't seen a lot of ego. So it's really great. And everyone's all about giving back, and everyone's so close with the Falzarano family, you know, Vincenzo, who we mentioned earlier. I think in terms of, man, just can do it all. Casey Catal. Yeah. She's a phenomenal, killing it on the indies, killing it in Synergy right now. Intergender deathmatch, really bright future, like immediate bright future. Huge things for her. And again, like I keep saying, great human. I'm so appreciative of her, like on a personal level too. Mother Endless in the Goddesses. One talent, I have to be careful here. She respects kayfabe, which you don't see anymore, like with social media and all that. Like, you know, I want to get a picture with Mother Endless. It's not going to happen. You don't get pictures with Mother Endless. You don't get, you know, that's not what Mother Endless does. Total, just one of the personas or one of the in-ring talents that we had on the show. Totally in character the whole time, like everything. She has a great voice, great look, one of the best entrances. I love that. She's going to go very, very far. So dedicated to the craft in a way, this isn't a knock on anyone, but in a way that not a lot of people are these days. Mm-hmm. Oh man, I feel so bad. Like there's so many. I gotta look to my right. Oh, Adina Steele, power. I'm looking at all the indies ever. Adina Steele, total powerhouse. Kaya McKenna, still very early in her career. The Good Witch, she's great. Riley Shepard, the Gladiator of the Geeks. Shout Mike Orlando, Ali Rex. We love them. The Rep, somebody signed the Rep, one of the best tag teams right now. So many great talents. Oh, man, I could go on. Oh, Vicious Vicky, who we just had on, new Goddesses champ. Gabby Ortiz, she always puts on phenomenal matches. Christina Marie, who I'd like to have on the show in the coming weeks. I got to send something formal. So don't do what I just did. But just so many great talents. A lot of these goddesses, a lot of these TCW guys, a lot of the standalone talent. And more importantly, 10-year-old Kid Carter. Keep your eye on him with wrestling in his blood, the son of Chad Minez. Watch out. I want to buy the very first Kid Carter 8x10.
Awesome, man. Yeah, definitely. And, you know, I just want to say, Rob, you know, I really, really appreciate you coming on, man. I really love doing this with you today, man. And, you know, we'll make it happen again in the future. And, you know, when you're big and famous and I'm still down here like, hey, Rob, can I get in? Oh, man. But, you know, for you, let's get the plugs out there, man. How can people follow you on social media, and where should they be looking for you?
Well, let me thank you first, man, because this, like I always said, this doesn't happen without you, man. This isn't just a me thing. This is a team thing. Like I almost hung it up, and everyone's like, "When are we doing this?" You're a big part of this, man. You're a part of this, man. Like if that Sirius satellite show happens, or we go to this next level, like I want my guys with me. You know, I want my guys, I want my girls with me, man. So don't think I'm going somewhere without giving you a phone call, man. You know
Thanks.
But shameless promo, dude. I'm all about it here. You can find the Bobculture Podcast. Now, again, we're not just a wrestling show. I will say we're a solid 75%, 80% wrestling right now, because it's which we love, and that business has been so great to us. But we also support the local music scene. We also, you know, when they were a thing, we went to the horror cons, we went to the sci-fi cons, we went to the pop culture cons, the comic cons, all that kind of stuff. We've even had a Ghostbuster, Ernie Hudson, on the show. So check us out. That was a big one for me. I love the Ghostbusters. Winston, one of my favorites, man. But check us out on Podbean, iTunes. Should be coming back up on Spotify. There was like a format thing, so I'm working on that. So we should be back up on Spotify soon. YouTube, I'm doing a lot of the live streams now on Twitch and Facebook, which again is something that I'm learning. It used to be just audio. Now we're doing the video as well. It's going great. A lot of the wrestlers chime in. It's great. People are starting to approach me like, hey, like, when can I come on? So I'm all about that, man. Please, if you want to come on the show, my thing is personally, now it's a little different because we're in COVID world. But my thing is, if you're a band or you're a wrestler, like, I want to see you live first before you come on my show so I can get a feel for you. Obviously, things are a little different now. We can't travel as much. I mean, we can, but it's a little different. There aren't as many things going on. So, but reach out to me. Reach out to Wrestling IQ 101. These guys are great. And I keep saying, like, I am following in Derrick's footsteps. I'm following in Andrew's footsteps. I'm following in Ty's footsteps. Like, I see how professional these guys are, and I'm trying to follow in their footsteps. But check out the Bobculture Podcast and leave me a review on iTunes. It really helps us out. And we're trying to stay in that top 100. We're trying to crack that top 50. So check us out, subscribe, download, and leave a review. And thank you guys so much. Thank you,
Derrick. Definitely. You make sure you get those Bobculture Podcast T-shirts, tpublic.com.
Yes.
Bobculture has some great designs there. And you can get Wrestling IQ 101 there as well, man. Definitely check it out. You can get Rap and Wrestle there as well, too. Look at that. A lot of promos going on right now.
That's my next shirt.
But, definitely, once again, Rob, thank you for coming on, man. Definitely appreciate it for taking the time out. And for us, we are Wrestling IQ 101. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, iTunes, YouTube, anywhere you're listening to your podcast. You can find us at Wrestling IQ 101. Make it simple for you guys. Make sure you follow. Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe. Retweet. All that good stuff. And we definitely appreciate you listening. And for this episode, once again, we are out.
Peace.